The other thing I've actually noticed related to labels is like water, filtered water. I've been going on down that whole like water rabbit hole lately and like, and what was that about? And,
I don't know anything about this water rabbit hole. I'm excited to learn.
well, you're in Austin, right?
Yeah.
I've actually heard Austin has some of like the worst tap water.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Maybe I'll start buying bottled water here. Thanks for, thanks for that.
No, it's huge. Like apparently like it's like I have a guy in my community who's been going through a lot of like autoimmune issues. So he's been digging into like what's causing it. And he's based in Austin, and a big part of it, apparently he switched his shower head to like be whatever, like filtered water, and it changed the game. But anyways, I've noticed that like some of the water labeling is also kind of off. And so like, for example, apparently some water has like way too much fluoride in it. And we're like, we already get too much fluoride. And so like being careful about that stuff is now also important, and figuring out like with the labeling around that and everything.
Yeah. And then the other thing that we didn't touch at all is the scams where they're complete counterfeit goods. So you'll have this, and that's a little bit harder to understand because, you know, the people are actually lying to you. You're actually not buying the products as they're being stated. One of the more obvious ones, or not obvious, but say eye-opening scams came out a few years ago in, I think, Australia, where butchers had been sticking together corners of meat cuts that were less expensive, and then using meat glue to stick them together and make them look exactly like a fillet so they could sell it for a higher price, which is the same theme that you'll see everywhere in these food fraud games. And so this was making people sick because, you know, if you're cooking your steak medium rare, the inside's not going to be fully cooked through. And that's typically okay because the inside hasn't been exposed to bacteria. But if the inside is actually the outside of an old piece of meat that's just been stuck together with meat glue and it's medium rare, well, then you're effectively eating the outside of a steak that's been exposed and hasn't been killed by heat.
That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah. So
wow.
that's the thing.
Like that's actually real?
Yeah, you can Google it. You know, and we've gotten on previously around fake honey, fake olive oil. So a lot of the products, especially products that come from, that are blends, you know, if you can go for a single source product, those have a better chance of being real than a blended product, because the blended stuff, well, it's not legal. People commit crimes, and you know, you can be the victims of crimes. So people, can, you know, if you're going for a blend, usually the way you create a blend product is the same way like TJ Maxx or Marshalls put stuff on their shelves. They just buy what's cheap from everyone else, and then assemble it, aggregate it for you, and put it in like one place where you can buy it. But when you're constantly bottom barrel shopping, when you're producing, you know, when you're putting everything together from cheaper sources, like there's a good chance that there's going to be contaminants in your cheaper sources. And so, you know, whether you're talking about olive oil blends, honeys that don't have a known origin, there's a very good chance those are going to be fake if you're buying them in the US.